Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It's the following day. It was a sour defeat in Dortmund. Maybe we didn't deserve it, maybe we did. I thought I would jump on a little call today with the main man, Mr. Yanislav Ivanovic himself from Football Therapy. Jan, how are you? How is the kitten? How is life?
Thanks for having me, G. Yeah, I'm well, mate. I'm good. I've got the new pad's good. I've got a little kitten, Mia. She's great. Those who watch my channel may have met her at the end of a couple videos. It's going well, man. Everything's fine. I'm happy with the general ethos of what we're trying to do at Chelsea. Just need to score some ruddy goals, don't we, big man? But happy to be here.
I was going to say, at least some of us are scoring in life right now. You're doing good. You've got a new addition. We don't seem to have any additions to the tally of goal scoring, which I guess is the only thing, really, in my opinion, that was missing last night. If we talk about, let's say all the buzzwords right now going around, Todd Bowley's Chelsea, Graham Potter's Chelsea, we're looking for improvements. We're looking for some form of consistency. I saw improvements in that game yesterday. I thought at many times we were very, very good. And I think João Felix in particular showed us that he really is the real deal. What do you think about, first of all, we'll go into the result and the repercussions of the result after, but what do you think, first of all, of the performance and specifically the way that Potter set us out to play?
Good, mate. I mean, I think one thing that's unifying a relatively segregated fan base at the moment is it was a good performance and we were set up well. We couldn't have expected much better lineup from Graham Potter. Of course, Madueke is not on the squad, so Ziyech comes in. The midfield pivot of Rebenzo, as I like to call it, played well.
I like it.
Cheers, thank you. And I don't think Kovacic is ready to come back in. Of course, there's talk of Kante, same as Zakaria. Of course, there's talk of Kante coming back. We all wanted Chile B to start. There he was. People kind of understand why Havertz is still playing, even if they're frustrated with him, I think. Although we'd perhaps like to see Detro Fofana off the bench. I don't know if he's in the Champions League squad, Detro Fofana. Anyway,
He's not.
Okay.
He can't play.
Well, there you go. So yeah, people are now doing revisionism of Aubameyang, but everyone wanted Aubameyang to just not be involved. And now, of course, we continue to not score goals, so people are changing their opinions, which is their right, but also perhaps a bit silly because he was dropping stinkers. But yeah, the approach was good, the formation was good. We've conceded 2 goals in 5 games, and that one of them there was against the run of play. And it was a proper sucker punch counter-attack goal, which does happen in football, of course, to whoever you are. So generally, the performance largely was very good. And the approach, I mean, I know it's like a boring cliche thing that a lot of people say on social media, but it's like, Graham Potter coached a 3-0 win there. I made a video titled "He Can't Score the Goals Himself," but if you put the players in positions to have we had 8 shots on target and was it 20 shots? Something loads and loads of shots. So when you're in that position, it's just up to the players. But the all-round performance and the approach, very positive, I'd say, mate.
I think the fact is, if you take the last 2 games, for example, the draw away at West Ham, if you remove all of the prior form, you could say sometimes that Chelsea Football Club can allow a 1-1 draw away at West Ham if we're bracketing a fixture like that in the whole idea of a little bit of an intimidating atmosphere. London derby, you go to Dortmund, 81,000 fans, very intimidating European atmosphere. For the majority of both of those games, or at least for large parts of the West Ham game, and at least in my opinion, the majority of the match last night, Chelsea was starting to control things, which, even if we were profligate in front of goal, which I think is the main reason why we didn't win the game, I think the way that we're starting to manage games within the game itself is improving. And I'm quite impressed so far with just how much the new players are linking up. Reece James came out this week and was talking about, to expect all of these players to just gel together straight away is a bit of a crazy thought. Potter has obviously gone about it his own way in press conferences as well, when Graham Potter's discussing about trying to understand how everyone's playing together, trying to bleed players back into the squad from injury. But did you see enough last night to think that when Dortmund come to Stamford Bridge in March, surely, at least in my opinion, I think we've got more than enough to beat them relatively comfortably without sounding too cocky after we just got beat.
Well, I didn't.
But
you started that.
I could see like a 3-0. Second leg.
Right.
I'm just calling it now.
Whoa. I was going to say, I thought we were still in the time. I was going to be, yeah. I was like, yeah, mate. And then you started saying, beating them comfortably. You know what, maybe, N'Golo Kante is supposed to be back for the return leg. Look, man, Dortmund, right, before their winter break, which was I think it was in November, they weren't in good form. But since they've come back, they're not just on an unbeaten run. They've won every single game. So they've won every single game since the return of their winter break. They are like one of the form teams in Europe. They generally always play well at home, and they've been beating teams scoring 5 goals and stuff. So they've been killing it. People that saw the lineup and like, oh, if Chelsea don't beat this team, which is nonsense because they're a really good team and they're a winning team, and they're a settled, team that know what their coach wants, which is we're not there yet. And there was all kinds of stats like this is the worst for a game they've won in the Champions League, it's the worst amount of shots they've ever had since 2003. The Sofa score, I know these something like that was Sofa score as well, like they show the attacking momentum. The entire second half is all Chelsea, even when they score the counter-attacking goal, that segment of the game, it's all, of course, it comes from a corner, and it comes from a Chelsea corner, and then afterwards we go back up and put the pressure on. So it was totally against the run of play. They had the majority of the first half in terms of attacking momentum, but not all of it. And remember, we are away at Dortmund, and then Graham Potter, again, people don't want to say this because it's not vogue to praise the manager, but clearly he said something to them at half time, did some managerial work, and they came out and absolutely the whole second half was domination despite the freak counter-attack goal. So, João Felix was excellent, but he should have scored. I'm not going to dig him out because, he was so influential and other players should score as well. And he's the last player to score for us, of course. But, there's so many... And bearing in mind, the man of the match of the game was the Dortmund goalkeeper. And, he made loads of good saves. A really good save from the Enzo Fernandez shot at the end. Of course, we had a Koulibaly shot cleared off the line by the centre-back. But, so we should have won that game. But at the end of the day, when you have that many shots, you just got to finish your dinner, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think at this point now, when we look at the form, we look at everything else, I don't know about you, but I can't make myself believe, as much as I'm very optimistic here that we can go and smash Dortmund at the Bridge 3-0, which is my score prediction at this point for the second leg.
Yeah.
Surely there isn't anywhere near enough proof with anything going, and even like trajectory, if we're looking at like upward curves, right? We spoke about progress in last night's game. People are getting really frustrated by the fact that Chelsea fans, who are justifying positivity right now, are saying that because we played relatively well in a loss, it's improvement. Surely there's no way that we can rely on getting Champions League football next season by finishing in the top 4 in the Premier League. I think that's just gone. Yeah. Are you with me on that one or not?
I am with you on that. And also, it's a game of opinions, so I don't want to tell anyone how to feel about football, because obviously you want to win football matches, it's an instantaneous dopamine hit. The whole reason why football's so popular is because you can get swept up with the immediate emotions, and it offers that sort of vessel in our lives. But despite all that, George, I am being philosophical about Chelsea at the moment. We've always sort of lived on this hill of top 4 or bad season, and which is kind of a bit Wenger's Arsenal. But the truth is, man, for a long time I've wanted a big change at Chelsea, and I've pretty much got everything that I've wanted, even though the results are bad and people won't see through that, and I understand. But we've had heavy investment in incredible young players. We've got footballing infrastructure. We've got recruitment infrastructure, management, a long-term vision. Stuff that was, Chelsea was the opposite of that, the antithesis of that, and it's unsustainable. And I always go on about it, but in the modern footballing landscape, Roman Abramovich, Chelsea and vibes doesn't work anymore. And we've got something that is conducive to a long-term structure, the best in class, as Matt Law calls it, with everything, with recruitment, with, the new mentality coach specialist, Gilbert Enoka, really trying to cultivate top to bottom the appropriate stuff for long-term success. And when you do a shift like that, an ethos shift, an approach shift, there are teething issues, and you might even regress, like we have a little bit. But everyone's staying calm. You hear the owners won't flinch. The gaffer's calm, even if he did sort of had a bit of a bite back in the presser the other day. The players, Reece James recently interviewed, was like, yeah, it's great. This is what we've all bought into this. This is a long-term thing that he knows is going to benefit him. He's 23, 24. He's like, look, the next few years, we've got superstars around us, and it's not about getting someone in who's just going to immediately be good and then explode 18 months later. We're all happy, we're all together, and we know what we're doing. And for me, that offers comfort in a season where, we might not get Champions League football, because if we tear up in the league or play really attacking football in the league next season, score loads of goals, we've got some youngsters playing, maybe the Conference or Europa League, but it's a different opportunity for them, some academy players coming through, and we're winning games and feeling good, and the gaffer's smiling. Then I'd rather that than, some sort of explosive fallout in a Champions League group. It just offers sustainability and a direction. So to end that, essentially, I don't think we'll get Champions League football, but I don't think it's the biggest issue.
Yeah, to me at the minute it kind of feels like a marathon, but the reversal of a marathon. So we feel as though we're just about to finish it, and we don't know if we can actually finish it. But we're actually just at the start, but we're having those late on in the marathon struggles right now. But then when we finish it, it's all going to be plain sailing. I feel as though that's where I feel like this project is at the minute, where we're kind of fatigued and we're being asked to do something that is way beyond our physical means right now because we're not prepared. So I kind of feel like what we're experiencing at the moment is those initial trying to get through that start bit and then kind of coast, to use the marathon analogy as best as I possibly could. Just thought of that on the spot. But
no, it's good.
I definitely think...
I was going to say just quickly...
I think it works, right? I think if you understand what I just said, let me know in the comments down below and just hit the like button just to prove you're with me. Yeah, but I think... This project can't really, based off of everything that we've heard from Bowley, and again, I think, especially with football owners and new takeovers at clubs, people want to see congruence between the words that are used and then the actions that follow. And so far, Todd Bowley has delivered basically on every single little thing that he said he would do. So when you spend 600 million... And this is kind of where I want to end up with this video here, because if Chelsea don't get Champions League football, which you've precursored there, you don't believe we will, I think it's imperative that we do beat Dortmund in that second leg and we at least get through to the quarterfinals and just pray that we get a nice draw. Does not getting Champions League football stop Chelsea from getting their top targets that we want this summer to complete the rebuild of the squad? Do you think the playing personnel that we might be trying to entice, I'm not even going to try and clickbait it, but there were rumours that Todd Bowley was in Paris, he still wants Neymar, all of this stuff. I don't see how that would fit or how that would work, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
You've got Bellingham, who was there last night, that we could go and splash 100 million plus on. Is Champions League football imperative for Todd Bowley and Chelsea this summer to complete what we've been doing for the last two windows?
No, I'd say no, because we've got a ridiculous squad. Okay, when everyone's back fit, we've got a ridiculous squad, and even if we don't make Champions League, because the intentions, the articles, the headlines are inferring that, should we get Champions League, they're ready to go again. Someone close to Bedadik Barley was like, we ain't done yet. The big spending is going to come. So even if we don't do that, you would have to assume there'd be some spending. And even if you allocated a lot of funds into, say, a centre forward. Remember, Nkuku's coming, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we will sell a few players. We will sell a few players and get a few players out the door. Kante will come back. We might buy Zakaria, and Nkuku will come. You know, and like you might get a few quid for Lukaku, maybe. There's so many things to remember and to consider. You know, Andre Santos might be coming into the team. You know, we'll see how Cesare Casadei does the rest of the season on loan. There's so much talent there that really, I think it's just fine. By the time he gets all his injured players back, by the time, you know, Nkuku arrives and we sell a few, you probably still got scope to buy like a high-profile player to join this redunculous squad. You know, Pulisic comes back, he might not be sold. Ziyech will probably be sold. You know, there's so much stuff to consider that, and your analogy with like the marathon, people expect we're at the end because we've got all these amazing players. But the truth is, like you said, we are at the beginning and they're all young. They're diamonds in the rough. So we need time, and we need maybe the pressure off a little bit. And we need, you know, though Enzo looks like he's been here for a million years, he needs to learn English and, you know, it's just bed in a little bit better. The one thing that I'd say is, in terms of Champions League football and stuff, I have a feeling that we will be very, very desperate to buy João Felix. I think João Felix will be very desperate to stay at Chelsea. All the noises are, I think he feels reborn there. Of course, he speaks fluent English anyway. He gets a complete free role, which we saw again last night, which is the opposite of what he has under Diego Simeone. And of course, he knows he's playing with Mudryk, Fernandes, you know, all the other exciting attacking talents, and he will cost a fair few quid, João Felix. And he'll also know Nkuku's coming as well, which will be exciting for him. But I feel like Chelsea apparently do have a really good relationship with Atletico Madrid from, like, you know, the Thibaut Courtois days, the Diego Costa stuff, the Saul loans. You know, of course now João Felix. There's a long-standing positive relationship with them, so maybe they'll cut a sexy, long, amortized, broken down payment deal that suits us. Who knows? But yeah, that's the only thing. But long answer short, essentially, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they're prepared for not having it. Maybe they won't spend another 300 million in the summer, but maybe they'll still spend 150 million. You know, who knows? It's wild. You can see it happening.
We're lucky buggers, really, aren't we? I mean, that's actually filled me with a lot of optimism. I think after a Champions League first leg defeat, we have somehow managed to choreograph a very optimistic Thursday outlook for everybody here, Jan. Thank you very much for that.
There will be
just the last thing.
Go on.
Are we beating Dortmund and are we going through?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to say yes. I think we will. Yeah, I think we will. I think we will. I think N'Golo Kante will return. Wesley Fofana might be available. Not that Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly deserves a great deal of respect because people were freaked out with his return.
He was good yesterday.
Yeah, he was good, and he had been crap. So, you know, shout out to him. But you know, if we might have Fofana next to Thiago Silva, maybe Ben Chilwell will be able to play 90 minutes instead of 60 or 70. You know, Kante might be back. Pulisic might be back, and you know, might be able to score. Why not? I think we can. If we, God forbid, if we score a few goals in between yesterday and that next game, I think we'll be favourites to go through. Not only win the game, which, well, if we win the game, we'll at least draw, but I think we'll be favourites to qualify.
That's good enough for me. Enough positivity. I absolutely love that. You can never have enough positivity. Thank you very much to Jan for coming on the channel. As always, links are in the description, or you can just click on the name in the title. YouTube is getting smarter these days with the way that they can help us navigate collaborations. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to me if you haven't already done so. Jan, thank you very much, mate. Say hello to the cat. Give her a little stroke for me.
Thanks for having me. I'm putting the like and subscribe graphic on now on my OBS, so everyone can go like and subscribe to both our channels. And I'll say hello to the kitten for you, mate. Thanks for having me.
Legend. Come on, you Blues.